Welcome back to Follow Through. Good to be back with you. The guys are here. We're all back in studio. Good to see y'all. Happy New Year. Happy 2022. The last time we talked to you was in 2021.
Oh.
Since then, we've went on a trip. COVID got 2/4 of this room.
Probably 4/4 of us, actually.
Whatever.
I mean, we're pretty positive Eli had it the week before.
Well,
Pretty positive.
Yeah.
I like that pun.
And then
That was nice.
I'm pretty positive I was the first
it
one
has
out of
not
us to
been
officially be
confirmed for
positive.
me. It was confirmed for a
Well,
few.
because share your opinion on getting tested.
Well, I mean, I didn't really see.
stop.
Yeah, I
anybody.
wouldn't share it. I wouldn't
I
share
didn't really see
it.
anybody.
So
I didn't.
me and
have
Blake over here, we got positive
it. I mean,
Yeah.
COVID. We got the passion strain.
I never had it.
Be the word for it.
Yep.
So the passion variant, I guess, would be the correct term that Dr. Fauci would like me to use.
Yeah.
But
Passion variant.
I got positive for COVID. Blake tested 2 days after me.
You tested on Thursday? Or
Yeah, the
Wednesday?
day after. When we got back Tuesday.
We got back Tuesday.
I did Wednesday.
I got tested
Yeah.
Friday. I was going to get tested Thursday, but they were out of test. So then I went back Friday. They were out of test again. So then I went to Huntsville Medcare
So
in front of
why
Walmart.
was that a big deal that you didn't get tested on Thursday?
Well, I was going to go get tested on Thursday, but
What happened? What was the result? You
Well,
missed the basketball game, which is
Oh,
absolute
yeah.
pain. It's
That is
absolute pain.
I
Yeah.
agree.
and that was my Christmas present.
This
from
all
Dex,
went
and I feel
down-
so bad that I wasn't able to be there.
Like, we were ready to go last Wednesday to record. Notes were out and everything. Then it comes out. Then we had to miss the weekend show. So we're back.
yeah.
And it does feel like we haven't done this
For a year.
since last year.
I was gonna say the joke, but
No,
hey,
I
but
saw
I
it.
like it.
Well, it doesn't
I
feel
like
like
the
because we
joke.
haven't done it just last year.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
Oh,
we had going on.
yeah.
Welcome to the party, Dax.
My COVID brain is still foggy over here. Still trying to get back to normal. You know, it's just been a real battle.
That could have been the best joke I've heard all year.
Okay.
I heard some better ones.
Yeah, freak y'all.
I'm just gonna mute him on that one.
Yeah.
I think that's the. No, I'm just joking. You're not muted, but well, glad to be back with you at Follow Through. Hope you had a good holiday, New Year's Eve type deal. And I guess ours has just been jam packed. It's just been moving ever
Yeah,
since.
we've been everywhere.
Yeah, so it's good to be back with y'all talking here on Follow Through, and we're just gonna start off with something that needs no introduction: the NFL. And we're going to start with some NFL over and under results. So we took these before the season, and boy, oh boy, was mine just stellar. I am...
Dax's first hot take when
Yes,
we did
ever,
the show
ever.
his first hot take ever was that the Giants would win the division and Daniel Jones was going to win most improved player.
Yeah, I'm not
for
proud of
two.
that. Not,
But I remember that was the first episode we did.
I thought he might have a chance after the QB sneak on 3rd and 9, but they're not going to give it to him this year, I don't think.
3rd and 9 from your own 2-yard line too, so that makes it even worse.
Look, we tried, guys, okay?
I mean,
Clearly, both of my early football hot takes did not pan out.
Oh, yeah, that one was
Yeah.
tough, but, we did. Blake, sadly.
Nor did my last football take pan out in the Michigan Wolverines, but later on in the show on that.
Blake, sadly, was not a part of this at the time.
Wow, loser.
So we'll just start out in the NFC North. The Bears and Packers, we got Dax and Blake over here. The original was Chicago Bears 7.5, Detroit 4.5, over/under wins. Green Bay 10, Minnesota 9. The under hit for the Bears, Dax. I was the only one to take that.
Really?
Detroit, we all went over and lost that one. Green
Only at
Bay
6.
was set at 10. They obviously exceeded that very well. And Minnesota was at 9. We all went under on that and got that one right. They only won 8 games
Which
this
is
year.
a travesty to Kirk Cousins,
That
let me
is
say.
tough.
What was Detroit?
4.
4?
They won
They
three.
won
And
three.
they
Tied.
should. They no. And they had 2 or 3 that they should have won.
Yeah. So
They were just unlucky.
Yeah,
Well, the
that-
last one was
tie,
given to 'em.
If you bet it, that would have. And we all picked Green Bay to win the division. So round of applause to everybody. Even the polls did that.
We can count you a part of that.
Yeah.
NFC South.
I'm the polls.
This was when I thought Atlanta would have a better year, and I took the over. Everybody else took the under on 7.5 wins for Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I take the L there. Carolina, We flip-flop here. I took the under. Everyone else took the over. I was correct
Like,
on
I
that
can't
one.
help they had Sam Darnold who sees ghosts and
7.5.
Cam Newton who should be in the retirement
To be
home.
fair, I mean, they started out pretty high.
They
They
did
only,
start out.
yeah, 3-0.
3-0, yeah.
If you bet this and they win the first 3, you are feeling
I was feeling great. I was on,
incredible.
what's that song? I'm on top of the world. Hey,
Yes.
that's where I felt.
New Orleans Saints
Imagine
were set
Dragons.
at 9, and me and Dax took the under. Clay took the over on the Saints, and then he's going to lose that one.
What'd they win? 8 or something?
7.
Yes.
Oh,
It was 8.
8.
Eight and
Okay.
9.
I thought I was guessing 7. I didn't have any stats.
And
on that. I was
then-
just guessing.
The Bucks were at 12. I took a draw. I thought they would win 12. They ended up winning 13. Everyone else took the over, so good stuff there. Tampa Bay wins their division. We all got that one correct.
Forever.
Dallas was 9 wins. New York was 7 wins. Dax took the I actually took the over on New York with you, so don't feel too bad about that one. Philadelphia at 6.5. Washington at 8.5. We all missed Philadelphia. We all took the under, and they won more than 6.5 games. Looking back, that's probably
And they're in the playoffs.
yes. And then the playoffs.
I said they were going to be the worst team in the division.
And then Washington, Dax took the over on 8.5 wins for the freaking football.
Okay,
team.
look, they lost their quarterback in the second week of the
did.
season, and then they went on a win streak for a minute, and then it went bad again. So,
They lost Chase Young, too.
yeah, that doesn't help either.
NFC West, we all missed Seattle at 10 wins, and they only had 6. So that's just tough. Wilson going out obviously plays a huge factor there. Arizona 8.5 wins. I thought that was pretty easy with the over there. Los Angeles had 10.5. We all got that one. And then San Francisco, Dax, you took the under, so you missed that one.
I
But
did, too, didn't I?
yes, no. I took the under. You took the under. We got that. Dax took the over, which it was a 1-game
Wow.
deal there.
That gummit-ish.
We're getting down here into the AFC North where the surprise was, and we just want to point out that Clay McGuire took Cincinnati at under 6.5 wins for the year.
It's okay.
Hey, look, who expected them to do this?
I mean, I thought they'd be good, but
I mean, me and Dax at least took the over on 6.5. Cleveland.
I also picked the
10.5.
Browns to win the division.
Yes, Dax did, and he had them going over 10.5 there.
Really
We
good
all
take
missed
there.
the Ravens for sure after they didn't win 11 games. And Pittsburgh, we all took the under and got that one right, and they're in the playoffs somehow. So
Good job, Blake. Hey, your Super Bowl pick is
That
still
it's
alive.
still there.
I mean, hanging by the smallest,
You're a Chargers timeout
Hey,
away from
Don't sleep
not-
on them.
the smallest thread. I read something that
the same way that Ben's arm is hanging
could
on.
be the
smallest
worst
thread.
playoff team to ever make it.
Hey, don't sleep on them.
AFC
Chiefs.
South, we absolutely dominated it. We picked Tennessee to win it. The only miss is Dax got on the little Jacksonville fever. That was about the time they.
What was
signed
their over under?
Tebow 6.5? They only won 3.
Yeah, looking back on that, it was bad.
Yeah. AFC East, we completely killed it. I got all of those right. All the wins right. Buffalo Bills run that division. And then the West, we had Kansas City winning 12.5 games, all of us. They only won 12, so that's a toughie. And then we had the Chargers winning 9.5. They only won 9, so we lost both those by a half game. Got the Denver one right at 8.5. Got Las Vegas at 7. That was an easy one on the over there. Kansas City runs that division. So looking back, we did a pretty good job. I thought if we had picked the division winners, except for Cincinnati, because no one really saw that coming. Hypothetically, if we'd parlayed that, we made a little bit of money. So
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. What was the little bit that hypothetically? Not that we really did any research on this, but
if you put down $100 and bet all the ones we got right, just the 7 division winners, it was like $6,000.
sorry,
Hypothetically,
okay.
of course.
Blake, I don't be sheeshing over here. You weren't a part of this.
I know. I was
Like,
I'm just
sheeshing for
joking.
y'all.
I'm just joking.
I mean, I was in
messing with you.
holes.
I'm the one who picked the Giants to win the division. So I also said the Eagles are gonna be the worst. Picked the Browns.
Well, the Browns would have won the division if they didn't have a trash can quarterback.
Easy.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
I mean,
He played like an absolute trash can.
Oh,
It's still amazing that the
He's worse
Steelers.
than
It's still amazing to me
that
that the
guy in
Steelers made the
Indianapolis.
playoffs, though.
Yeah, is he worse than
no,
He
he's
is.
not.
Yeah,
no,
you
he's
know
not.
what? That's a
I don't
good.
know.
That's a good transition.
That's like 1A and 1B right there.
He's definitely worse.
Let's move to the NFL of this week.
Which we couldn't. We don't have to. We
Yeah,
can
I
actually
think
we
we
can
should.
actually just
I
not
think-
talk
let's
about
talk about the
sports
week
at
8.
all.
Let's talk about week 18. I think I think week 18 it was a good.
This is a good show,
weekend
Dax.
of-
I'll say we just that's good. Hit the music.
I think it was a good weekend of football. Speaking of, let's talk about the Colts and Jaguars
We
game.
just don't have to. Actually, I will.
Oh, Clay.
What's the record
Let's
against
just
the
start
Jaguars?
off. Let's just start off with Clay has had a rough
72 hours.
72,
And we'll break
in
you-
it last
and,
night.
And don't worry, we'll have 24 hours apiece later on in this episode. Well, let's start off with the 24 hours that started off the week.
Okay, so going into this, I kind of thought it was a trap game, but deep down, I was like, "There's no way." This team is what
That is on you.
2-14. They have not done anything. They just look like they're real hard. They look like a collegiate football team, honestly,
I
and
just
a
wanna
bottom
tell
tier
you
college football team.
That Trevor Lawrence threw 2 touchdowns.
I watched the game, Dax.
And
I know.
he
It's
hadn't
half of
thrown
what
a
he threw in
touchdown
November.
since like what?
In November.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And he made like a play where the bad snap and he threw it off his back foot and threw it in the end zone. It was just one of those days. Carson Wentz played absolutely terrible. That was definitely the key. I don't like just pointing out one specific player. The offensive line wasn't great either. Don't get me wrong, but if I had to just pick, the biggest standout of the game, what stood out the most is definitely how bad Carson Wentz was, and really how bad he was down the entire stretch of the season. But that's our guy right now. We're not really going anywhere. We can't go get anybody else. So he's gonna have to stick it out and just hope he gets better.
You
But
could bring back Phillip
Now,
Rivers.
Clay, for the few people that
Or
don't
Andrew.
know, what did this loss to Jacksonville cost?
win, all you had to do. Well, you could have won last week too, but you didn't. So that's problem
play
one.
last week?
The Raiders.
Oh yeah.
Which is, that's a good football team, whatever.
Playoff team.
So, and still, up in this game, you win, you're in. You win, you're in the playoffs, and probably have a favorable seed. And you lose, and you're not in. Or you could have lost, and all this other crap would have to happen, but it wasn't going to. And they lost. And Jacksonville also has the number 1 overall pick. They were the worst team in the NFL. They had the worst record in the NFL. And you let them ruin your season.
Dude, it's all right. Your team wasn't the only one that lost to a bad football team. with
Okay,
two
they're
wins.
playing the 5th string Green Bay Packers. You've had the
Dude,
one.
we
You've
still
had
lost to
the,
them.
you've
You gotta
had the
look at the
one seed for the
positive.
month.
We still lost to him. We still lost to him. So.
You lost to an up and coming Lions team.
But-
That is
we lost
true.
to the freaking Vikings.
It also doesn't help that the
battle of the no
team we got
coach.
the quarterback from
Yeah.
is sitting
And
there in
no
the playoffs
GM.
with their
Yeah.
first year quarterback and first year head coach that was on the Colts.
I tell you,
It's all
I
right,
did
man.
not want to see Indianapolis in the playoffs, though, especially Tennessee.
You don't have to. You don't. You're not.
Well, they
gonna-
got a playoff home game.
They did. I was going to say that. Look at the positive. They got to, playoff home game in Lucas Oil. So what else can you ask for?
I hate all of you.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I had to make that joke.
But at the
and
end,
you got to
I
enjoy
was-
one more game in your favorite stadium. That is true.
It was a playoff game in your stadium. Home game.
I was so,
Which wasn't
I was
great.
entirely
Logo was on the
disappointed.
field?
I was entirely disappointed in literally everybody on the field. I know they do not care, but
No, they
I was
don't.
disappointed in
They're
you guys.
probably having a nice vacation right
Yeah,
now. They don't give a
they're
freak
living
about
lavish, but they did kind of hurt me.
And this is, you're gonna hate this. What's bad is they trade to get Carson Wentz, and then Philadelphia is a 10-win team, makes the playoffs without him,
you. Yikes.
and Carson Wentz goes to the Colts, which was a 10-win team last year, and is now what?
I think we won 9.
And
Yeah.
I'm glad they fed Jonathan Taylor with only 15 carries.
Yeah,
your stud.
It's whatever.
at
But
the end of the day,
besides that game, the standout, the game of the year was Sunday Night Football. That was incredible.
I think it was the game of the year. I don't have any. The Raiders Ravens early was good. You remember that one, like week
Yeah.
2?
Yeah.
I thought the Chiefs Ravens was good too.
I don't
that
know
was
how
a
you're
good
going to top the one that just happened.
It's just because what
The
was
implications,
At,
yeah.
what was at stake?
Yeah, week 7. I don't really. It's not. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about it, but it's not like.
And I just want to know what was going on in the head coach's head whenever he called that timeout.
All right, here's the way I look at it. I've read with my own 2 eyes that was the worst timeout in NFL history. I totally disagree with that. I think if you look at it, he called a timeout with 5 seconds on the play clock. So the only thing that he cost the Chargers is 5 seconds more
Yes.
of the clock running. Las Vegas was not in Neyland's formation. They were not in, like a QB under center, none of that. Carr might have been under center, but they were motioning across the field. They were going to run the ball.
Yes,
on the 3rd
they're
and 8.
they're gonna milk the clock.
Yes,
they're not
still
gonna
gonna run it.
Try an incomplete pass.
So all Staley, and he explained this, was that he wanted to get a timeout in to get his run personnel on the field. which I agree with because the way Daniel Carlson's been kicking field goals all year, and it showed again, it's going through the uprights if he can get it within 50.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right at the 50 mark, the 37-yard line. I mean, the 34-yard line would have been 51 right in there. He wanted his run defense out there. I actually said when he called the timeout, I said, I like that timeout because all that Las Vegas is going to do is hand it off, run the clock. So all this whole timeout stuff, I understand what you're saying. It did feel like it changed the game. Carr said it changed their approach. I think they just might have switched
I'm
the way
same
the
way.
run's
I mean, they were going to run it. They
Either
were about
way,
to run a
and they're
play
gonna kick a
and
field
give it to
goal.
Josh Jacobs. Yeah, even if it was now, if you could have even off the timeout, if you could have held them to like a no gain, they might not have kicked it because then you miss and you're in awful field position, and they still have time to go win the game.
Whoa. Would it be a second?
Well, what?
No, it wouldn't have been the clock would have run out.
Yeah, look,
Was it not third down though on that
It was
little
third.
It was third.
So if they wouldn't have got it, LA could have called a timeout, and then
yeah,
they would have
it
had
is.
to punt it back.
Well,
So I mean, it was the same way. The fact of the matter is, you can't let Josh Jacobs gain 15 yards.
no,
Well,
I
I
know
don't
he
know.
got 7
Well,
yards on that last
my
play.
thing is, okay, they were on the 40 whenever they had that third down play. So I mean, they're still in somewhat field goal range unless you just
Yeah, that'd be 57 from there.
yeah. And I mean, as a fan of football and seeing Carlson do what he's doing this year, I would be comfortable with him kicking that. And my thing is, they're gonna run the ball.
Yes.
They are not gonna pass the ball. I would trust my guys out there right then. And with the clock, with how much time's left, you're not going to get the ball back. It's either going to be a tie, missed field goal. That's it. Those are the only two. A tie is a missed field goal. A tie or a made field goal.
Right.
My bad. And those are your only two options. So why call a timeout? You need to force the other team who can only win or tie now. You need to force them to call a timeout. And you got to send everybody to stop this run because they're going to run the ball.
I know that's what his argument was. Is that he was getting his personnel in there to stop the run.
Yeah, so
which it didn't happen.
Just trust your guys that are out there.
So you don't like
then.
timeout?
No, I don't like timeout at all. Trust your guys that are out there right now to stop the play. And if they don't, well, see, it still happened either way. They didn't stop it when you had your run personnel in there, and they still got a field goal. So my thing is you need to force the team with the ball to try and beat the clock and try and get down before the clock. You don't need to call a timeout. You don't need to help them in any way because you're trying to get out of there with a tie or a win.
Whether you agree with the timeout or not, my opinion is it didn't change anything. That's my opinion.
I think it did.
Maybe how the play ended up.
that's the only-
Jacobs
that's the
got
only-
more yards, but it didn't change what Las Vegas was doing. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you meant like it didn't
It
change
did
the game.
change. He got more yards probably than he would have if he didn't burn it. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But the whole idea that Las Vegas was just going to end the game on the down, I don't believe that.
So I agree with timeout. That's fine. Do what you do if you're a coach. It's your decision at the end of the day. My issue is if when the Raiders have came out and started talking about, well, we were potentially thinking about kneeing it. I'm sorry, but Al Davis would have rolled over in his grave if you would have needed to let a divisional opponent get in the playoffs with you.
Carlson is kicking it no matter where they are on the field.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still just saying, all the Raiders who said, yeah, our thoughts and processes we may have need right there, that's stupid. That's not football. I'm sorry, but you're letting your divisional rival, the Chargers, get in the playoffs because you are scared that you're going to miss a field goal.
And I understand the argument of, hey, this kick could go wrong, you get it blocked, something like that. It's safer to guarantee your playoff spot. But I just think Carlson's kicking it no matter what. It's a win-win. How often do you ever get a field goal at the end of the game where it's like, well, if you miss it, it's fine. If you make it, you're fine. So he's kicking it either way, in my opinion, and I don't think the timeout changed what Las Vegas was doing at all.
My thing is okay, let's say if the timeout, just worked and it just happened to, pan out to be a tie. Well, now that timeout's looking like a smart idea.
Right.
It's kind of like the same way with the NFC Championship last year. And I'm going to pick this just because when the Packers kicked a field goal instead of going for it on fourth down, if that field goal pans out and we get a stop on defense, that field goal was the smartest decision in football that year. It's just kind of if it works and if it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, then it's a pretty stupid decision. But if it does work, it's the smartest decision.
Either way, incredible game. I hate that the Chargers aren't in, and I feel like they deserve a spot.
Yeah.
Also feel like Indianapolis deserves a spot. I kind of already put both of those teams in the playoffs. But I am looking forward to the playoffs. Not Boston. Baltimore not being in seems a little weird too. I thought they would make it, but we do have some good matchups. I'm really looking forward to Rams Cardinals Part 3. I think that'll be a good one. And if things pan out that way, that'll be who the Packers get. If Tampa Bay beats Philadelphia and I'm drawing a blank.
You just went from the NFC to the AFC. Wait.
No,
you're good.
NFC.
You're good, yeah.
And who's the 3 and 6 over there?
It's San Fran and
and Dallas. That'll be a good one too. And we're looking forward to that one. So if Dallas handles business and Tampa Bay handles business at home, Green Bay will get the winner of Rams Cardinals, which I feel like is a toss up. And then you look over to the AFC, you've got Tennessee got the 1, Kansas City holds the 2.
that'll be bad.
They get Pittsburgh.
I think both 2 and 7 games on both sides are going to be pretty rough.
I don't know. I feel like the Eagles can play with the Buccaneers. I really do.
The Eagles are going to come ready, I think.
I actually like the Eagles in that. You could hypothetically bet I might throw something on that. And then the 3 and 6 in the AFC is Cincinnati and Las Vegas, correct?
Yes.
Which I'm really looking forward to. I'm ready to see Derek Carr on the road.
And you got New England and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Part 3.
Yeah, not really excited.
And it's hard to take anything from that game because of how weird the first one was.
Yep.
And then the second one, Buffalo took care of business.
Yeah, Buffalo handled them pretty well in
see.
the second one. Back to Cincinnati and Las Vegas. I like Carr to go in and get this one.
Really?
I think Burrow, and at home it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to go into Cincinnati, but they've never been here. They haven't been here in a while.
The win of the Raiders.
I just like Carr. I'm going to take Carr's experience over. That's a good point. I'm going to take Carr's
last time
experience
Derek was in the playoffs, he was hurt.
There's a lot of prove
over
it.
Burrow.
There's a lot of prove it guys in this. You got Carr, you got Dak, you have let's see.
I think Kyler's a prove it guy.
Kyler's
right
a prove.
now.
Matthew Stafford is a prove it
Yeah,
guy. He's never won a
Hurts,
playoff
never.
game.
I hate to say it, and I'm a big defender of him, but honestly, Brady's a little bit of a prove it because he has so many people out injury wise that you can prove a lot of all those people saying he need all these pieces.
Jimmy G is
better hope
Jimmy G's got to
Foles
prove it because
doesn't
he's got
come
a
in.
rookie looming behind him.
There's a lot of teams. I looked at the
dude.
bracket today, and there's a lot of teams. It's like, well, they're kind of destined to win this game, and there's like, well, the other team is too. Like Arizona and Los
My
Angeles.
biggest game is the 49ers Cowboys. I think that game is a huge game.
I think it's Buffalo, New England. And
All
I
right,
think
so-
New England's going to spoil
Well, you know what
Buffalo's
happened last
season.
time Nick Saban lost the national championship?
New England
Or
won.
every time.
New England wins.
Yeah, New England wins the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Julian
Nick Saban
Edelman.
walked so Mac Jones could run.
Julian Edelman put $100,000 on a Patriots. Who was it? Oh, Patriots Bucks Super Bowl. Put $100,000
Really?
today on it.
That would be
Really?
fun.
It must be nice to be throwing away $100,000.
Yeah,
It wasn't a parlay though, so if one of them make it, he makes money. All right. So Chiefs, Steelers. Everybody's got Kansas City.
yeah.
Y'all.
I don't know.
I think it's a close
I don't
one.
know.
Well, Blake's got him in the Super Bowl, so
I do.
Let's
And
make our picks right now.
I think, that game is slept on. I do think the Steelers can win this game. And
You've got them as your Super Bowl. I think you should
yes.
lock it in.
I'm going to say they're going to win just because they're my Super
All
Bowl.
right.
But, this game is very slept on. I think the Steelers have a great chance of winning this game. And, talking about prove it guys, I think Mahomes is one of them. He had that slow start
he did
season.
have a slow start.
And this is your chance to say, hey, that didn't mean anything. We're here
Right.
in the playoffs, and I'm regular Mahomes.
Dax, what do you think?
I think it's closer than people are saying. I know we beat up on Ben and whatnot, and heck, life is beating up on Ben lately, but and he's hanging on by a
Right.
thread. But
Yeah.
I think that the Chiefs hype is still. I'm not completely sold yet. Like,
Okay.
they're a good team. Don't get me wrong, but like the whole they're going to be world beaters like last year type deal. I'm just not fully sold in. I think the AFC out of both conferences is the most wide open in the playoffs, and I honestly still think the Titans run the AFC. Right now, and so because their power run
I
game,
likes that.
I do like that.
but give me the Chiefs. But I will not be. Let me put this out there. I will not be surprised if the Steelers upset them.
Yeah, I like Kansas City, but it might be a little closer than people think.
Yeah, I'm
I
going
also-
Kansas City. I think it could be close just due to the fact of his team playing hard for Big Ben because it's potentially his last game. That's it. I don't think that's good enough to beat them, but I think they will definitely have something to play for because they don't want to see Big Ben go like that. But
His mobile self is going to be
all right. Cincy in Las Vegas, give me Derek Carr. If he's on the field, I'm going to pick him this year. I really like Derek Carr. I think his experience outlasts Burrow at home.
I'm going to go with the Bengals as much as it pains me. I like Las Vegas. I love Derek Carr, but the Bengals team, they can play with anybody on offense. That offense is good enough to go up against anybody. I don't think that Las Vegas can keep up. Their offense is not near as explosive as Cincinnati, so I'm going to take the Bengals.
This one's very close. The Bengals are a hot team, but I also don't want to bet against the Raiders just because they're one of those teams, if you bet against, they're going to show up and play their best because they live off of that energy we're not the best team in the playoffs. They feed off of that, and that's why I think they will win this game because people don't think they should be here, and I think they'll beat the Bengals.
Let's go, boy. Good pick.
I love Derek Carr. Let me put that out there. I really love him. I think he's a franchise quarterback. And I love what he does off the field. He has single-handedly held this Raiders team together by his hands because they've lost a coach this year. They lost I can't say that.
Star receiver.
Very I was going to say receiver. A weapon on offense, but, great player, Derek Carr is, but I think the Bengals get this done. Because you know why? The last time Joe Burrow was in a playoff situation, he handled business. And I think that attitude carries him on through this playoffs too. Not Super Bowl worthy, but I think they're going to get this game. Especially with it being in Cincinnati and it's going to probably be cold. Las Vegas been playing indoors.
Bills, Patriots. I'll start us off. I think Mac's had a great year. I think Mac is going to be a stud in the league, but I think he's kind of met his match here. Josh Allen, the Bills. I see them getting this done if it's not snowing.
So this one's kind of tough because on paper the Bills are better. I know they have the better quarterback. I think New England probably has a better defense. Offensively, Buffalo's 10 times better than New England is. But then I'm looking at who's on the sideline, and you don't want to bet against Belichick. I don't know. The Patriots, I don't think any of us thought they'd be here, really. I know I didn't. I didn't think they were a playoff team this immediately, but Buffalo's been here. Kind of a prove-it year for this entire team. You got to get past Kansas City at some point, and I think they handle business and take care of New England in round one.
Do it. This one's tough, too, but, after seeing, after they were front seats in that, what was it, AFC Championship? Yeah. Versus the Chiefs. And, Stephon Diggs waited out there, saw them celebrate.
Not a big fan of that.
I think
he knew the camera was there.
I think the Bills are going to feed off that energy. They want this more than New England, so I think the Bills win this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots.
There it is.
We needed one.
Yeah, we did.
Can't bet against the GOAT.
I think Mac is going to keep his career rookie season going to go another week. I don't know how much further, but I do think they have a chance to cause some havoc, and it's because they walk on the field with the best coach in the National Football League and potentially the best coach of all time. Him and Nick Saban are 1-1A, whichever way you want to look at it. But I think that they've got a more overall team that has been there because you have pieces they brought back like Kyle Van Noy. You have Matthew Judon, who could absolutely tear Josh Allen up this weekend. Plus, I also think that the Bills, they just, for some reason, aren't doing it for me anymore, whatsoever. There's just, their flashy pieces just aren't carrying. They're not as shiny.
Joe Michael's not going to lie.
It's the Josh Allen show. It really is.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, I love Josh Allen. Don't get me wrong. If the Bills win, perfectly fine. I just think I like the Patriots here in this situation.
Yeah.
Over on the NFC, we've got the Buccaneers and Eagles. Obviously, Tom Brady back in the playoffs again. They got the 2 seed, home field advantage. And Philadelphia is going to go into Tampa Bay and get a win. Calling it right here.
Are you serious?
Right now.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm going to be upset if they do because I really want Tampa Bay to stay in the playoffs. Like Tom Brady, I like everything down there. It's just I don't want it to happen, but I'm calling it right now. Philadelphia goes down there and wins maybe by 10.
Jeez. Everybody knows I'm the biggest Jalen Hurts fan there is. I love Devontae Smith. I like that team. I've watched them a lot this year, and I'm gonna be rocking my Jalen jersey, but I don't think you're pitting a first-time playoff quarterback this is really his first year. He's basically a rookie. He had a few games against the GOAT, who I'm not betting against Tom Brady. I just won't do it. He's the GOAT, and I'm not gonna put a first year quarterback in the playoffs against, how old is he, like 44, 45 something. It's just not gonna happen. Give me the Bucks, but the Bucks are depleted, and I think the Eagles, if they can run the ball, I think they have a chance.
I'm just telling you.
But
I got this feeling.
Vita Vea up there, it's not easy to run on that defense.
Either way, I'm getting a TikTok.
give me Tampa Bay. But I'm rooting hard for the Eagles. I hope you're right.
People forget last year, getting in the first round of the playoffs, the Buccaneers struggled against the football team.
Yeah.
Taylor Heineke.
That was a tough game, and I do think the Eagles can come in here and get something going for them. So,
Come on,
I'm definitely going to go with the Eagles.
Let's go.
I think the Eagles can come in there just because of, who's hurt for the Buccaneers, which, you still have Gronk, you still have Mike Evans, and they did just activate Shaquille Barrett, I believe. But I think the Eagles, they're one of those teams too, like the Raiders. If you bet against them, they're going to feed off that energy, and I do think they will come into the Tampa Bay.
Raymond James Stadium.
I think they will beat them. I don't know by about 10, maybe a field goal, but I think they can beat them.
That's going to be pissed.
Situation Tampa wants to be in is where Jalen Hurts has to beat him with his arm, and that's where they're going to put the Eagles this weekend. I'm pretty sure with Vita Vea absolutely terrorizing their run game. And Jalen's legs as well.
Don't get me wrong.
Now if they can run on the Bucks, I feel like the Eagles have every opportunity in the world. What doesn't make me feel good about the Eagles is that they just put up
Whoa. They didn't start anybody.
26 points against the Cowboys in a game where they should have tried. In a game where they should have tried.
They should have tried.
They should have tried. I don't get sitting people in that game. On another note, though, you know what? You want to rest for the playoffs? Cool beans. I said that, Chargers, Raiders, they should have, if they were being really smart, they should have rested too. Yeah. Back to this game, though. Tom Brady lives in the playoffs. This is his extension of the regular season because he's always there. You're not going into his home stadium and beating him.
That's fair.
That's
fair. I can't defend that.
I know he's depleted, and this honestly will be one of his more impressive playoff wins, I think, because I do think the Eagles is a good team, but I'm not going to pick against Tom Brady. It's kind of like not picking against Nick Saban, not going to pick against Tom Brady. If I prove wrong, so be it. I'll be wearing my Buccaneers jersey Sunday.
Dallas and San Francisco. I'll keep it short and sweet here. I'm going to go with Dallas. Their offense, if they get that offense rolling, they can beat anybody in the NFL. Can their defense hold up long enough? They've had a good defense most of the year. Michael Parsons playing well. I'm just going to take Dallas to handle business at home and actually win a playoff game.
I'm also going to take Dallas. San Francisco, I didn't think they were going to be here, really. I really didn't. They have a good team. I'm not a believer in Jimmy G. Some people are. I'm personally not. And Dallas is just too talented. Like they haven't shown. They have not shown it at times. But you look around, especially on offense, you just look around, and it's just like stud everywhere. And I think they looked like, and they didn't rest their starters because I think they were actually playing for a seed. And they looked like, they're trying to pick things back up. I'm going to take Dallas just due to the fact that there's too much talent on the field.
I definitely agree with you, Clay. Dallas has way too much talent, and they're at home. Playoff game, they're looking to win their first one since forever. So I think that energy is going to feed off them, and I think they handle business.
Deebo Samuel is a beast, so no, he is a freaking stud.
I'm not here for the Jimmy G hate.
Some people.
I think he is he may struggle for 3 quarters, but that fourth quarter he's going to be clutch. And he's one overthrown pass, which so be it. I hate it for him. They threw one overthrown pass in his career. That gets absolutely marketed that he's away from one overthrown pass from a Super Bowl championship. On the other hand, though, my only issue I have with Dallas is who's on their head coach, which is Mike McCarthy. I don't think he's a good head coach.
McCarthy guy, Dax.
No offense, Blake. I think they could have done better with that hire. But you know what? They're in this situation, and like you said, they are so talented. I think Dallas wins this one. I think they win it pretty big. And I think their defense will shut down the 49ers. No offense, Debo.
Rams, Cardinals, give me Matty Ice to get him a playoff win. I think that's kind of destiny right now.
Did you just rename Matt Stafford Matty Ice?
That's
Matt Ryan.
Sorry.
That's disrespectful to Matt
Ryan. Is
Ryan.
Hopkins playing?
I'm sure.
Probably not.
Probably not. He's been hurt all year. Dax knows.
Loser.
This is
Big
I feel
Stafford.
like we're talking about prove it guys. This is the biggest one that sticks out to me for two guys that, and especially for Stafford, because
It's Stafford's game.
you've been in Detroit and everybody uses that to defend you.
Yeah.
Now there's no defending you anymore. If
None.
you can't beat these guys with this team you have, and they have went balls to the wall, win the Super Bowl, and if they get put out in the first round, that's going to be embarrassing. I'm going to take the Rams. Like I said, Kyler's still young. He's still really young,
he's got
and I think that maybe that inexperience. And I know Matt Stafford doesn't have a lot of playoff experience, but just from a football realm, he has a lot more experience than Kyler Murray. So I'm going to take the Rams. Another team that you look across, especially really on both sides, you look across the field and you're like, how's this team not freaking 16-1 or 15-2?
Mm-hmm.
Just extremely talented. So I'm going to take LA.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, like Clay said, this is a win-now team. This is a team that doesn't have a first-round draft pick for the next 6 years or something. I mean, this team is all in to win, and they just signed Eric Weddle, who is like 38. I do think the Rams will win this game. The Cardinals, especially if Hopkins isn't playing, I don't see them, kind of competing, just because you're going to have their best receiver, Christian Kirk, on Jalen Ramsey, and that opens up Rondell Moore. Not hating on Rondell
That'll be good.
Moore.
If I want Hopkins to play, so we can see the Ramsey and Hopkins matchup, that would be fun.
Yeah, and I just think this Rams team, they're wanting to win it. They're wanting to prove.
Yeah, I agree. Do it. Don't do it. He's not going to do it.
Blake pulled up my fact that I wanted to point out is that Eric Weddle's back. So that's the secret sauce for the Rams. Here's where it comes down to this matchup. One, what makes me feel uncomfortable about picking the Rams is that the Rams already beat the Cardinals, which I always believe it's really hard to beat a team twice, a la Alabama, Georgia, but we'll talk about that later. This Cardinals team has not looked good down the stretch whatsoever. Now, they faced a lot of injuries, but, we can give excuses all day if we want to, and defenses. I'm taking the Rams here. If they lose in the first round, this will be one of the biggest dream team experiments failed.
Kind of like the Clippers almost.
Yes, exactly. Yes. That's what I was about to say. That's exactly where I was going with it. They could have the potential of being the Clippers here, and
a little bit of NBA talk for y'all.
Yeah, hey,
that'll wrap it
no,
up.
No. If we want to talk NBA, we'll talk about the Grizzlies.
Memphis is on fire.
I'm on my Grizzly. It's not back there, but I'm taking the Rams here to beat the Cardinals.
Sorry, John Michael.
And I don't think it's going to be close. It's in LA.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's SoFi's about to get super far,
and
on
it's
Sunday.
Monday night.
No.
On Monday. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's it, ain't it? Is that it?
Yep.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see how we do.
So we'll see how we
pick the
do. I'm
second
sure
round.
I'll pick every game wrong. So y'all just get ready for that.
Some of those games that I picked, I hope I get wrong, like Philadelphia and Las Vegas. I hope I'm wrong, but I just going with what I think.
Let's talk about some college basketball.
Let's do that while we're here.
We don't have to.
We do.
So let's start the No, okay. This is the 72nd hour for Clay, and we'll go back
we're
to
gonna skip
48.
from 1 to 3.
This one hurt the least.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
After the comeback.
Yeah, I
would've-
think it's
that
because
would've-
I was there.
I didn't watch it. I didn't care.
Let's talk about the game
That would've
that
hurt my
everyone in this, really who listens to this podcast, is probably going to be the one who they really care about the most, which would be Baylor, Texas Tech. No, I'm just kidding.
We do. Point that
Let's
out.
talk
though.
about
we, can
Xavier
point that
Texas
out.
Tech.
We can point that out
The
first.
Texas
Number
Tech,
one goes down.
Texas
Xavier
Tech
Villanova's
beats
playing.
Baylor. Shout out to Nick Griffith, who called that at the beginning of the
call
night.
He did.
And when I looked at it, which it ended up being closer by the half, but at one point I looked up, it was
Baylor
like
was-
28
yeah.
to 16, and I was like, okay, well, good job, good job, Nick, good try, because it was in Baylor. Baylor doesn't lose at Baylor. They had a 22-game win streak going, I think, maybe 21,
Something like that.
but Baylor goes down. So New number 1 is up for grabs again this season. And then let's go ahead and talk about the game that we were really going to talk about, which is the game we
UNA
attended.
game. Oh, sorry.
You probably did attend that. No, you were in protocol.
No.
Protocol.
They only won by 1 though.
Yeah.
Big win.
Auburn, Alabama, Iron Bowl of basketball.
It was fun.
It was a fun game.
Talented teams out there.
Yeah,
A lot of
very
NBA
talented.
talent.
The funniest statement that was ever made between me and Clay was on the way up there. We rode together, and me and Clay were both like, "Yeah, we're just gonna go. We're gonna sit down and enjoy the game.
Yeah,
we're just gonna enjoy the
I'm not
game.
gonna get
We're
that
not gonna
invested."
get that invested." Me and him
killer.
first gets there. I hear Clay just screaming, "Team up! Team up!"
Our section
Was
by the
Auburn-
way,
it
let's
was the
give
Auburn
Dax
student
a big,
section.
a big thanks
Thanks,
for-
Dax.
for providing that for us. We're in sort of an Auburn section, and not only are
Not even sorta. It was the
not
Auburn
only
student
is that
section.
true. Our back is basically against the wall, and
The tuberculosis was in the air.
asbestos is
Asbestos,
flying.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, I did take that shot. But this group, just this small group of people we're in, wants to stand up.
Yes, every time we had to stand
The
up
whole
every
game.
time.
I watched the whole game standing up just about.
Yeah. And I felt
So-
bad because I had like a family behind me, and I'm
Right.
like, well, you know
Yeah.
what? Well, other than that Bama fan behind me, but we're not going to get into that.
So I kind of got shuffled down a little bit from Jackson. I sat in the row in front, and all I hear is just Clay. They could probably
Clay
hear you
was
down
having
there.
I had a blast.
Clay was
dude.
having a
I
fun
was
time.
Yelling.
Me and Clay were just joking
there was
the
a
whole time.
when Alabama went down like 15. I started acting like I was an Auburn fan.
Yeah, he covered up. He had an Alabama hoodie on. He covered up the A and started saying, "War Eagle,
I
War
just,
Eagle."
I just wanted to
Oh
fit
my
in.
gosh.
Everybody around me was losing their mind, and I was
Yeah.
just standing there like a bum. I was like, it was fun though. I had a blast.
Getting into the game part, Blake, chime in whenever you feel.
Yeah,
ready. Blake said he didn't watch it. I don't believe that.
you want to know what I did this and that during this while y'all
I
were
don't
doing
think
this?
you should tell us.
You should tell us.
I was sitting at home in my room by myself watching, a good Netflix show, Cobra Kai.
Facts. Original YouTube TV.
Yes.
So, or
After
Yeah.
Premium.
I told my dad, I was like, I'm not watching this game.
Yeah. Too much
You
pain.
missed out on a good game. It
Too
was
much
a
pain.
good game.
It was.
End of the day, we can all say it was a good basketball game. Very fun
I
to
knew it was
watch.
coming.
No, that sucked. I hated it.
Early,
One of the worst sporting events.
Jabari Smith
Wish I'd
took
have sold
over.
my ticket.
Would y'all agree with that?
Oh yeah,
Jabari Smith
Shark,
took over.
he took
early.
over. Are you sure that the game wasn't him?
He played really well, and then he. I don't want to say he cooled off, but he didn't miss early. Auburn got ahead a little bit, up 5 at half. Second half, Auburn started to pull away. It kind of felt like things were really going our way. We hit a couple back-to-back threes. One of them was Wendell with a little step back, and then Jabari Smith made it a 14-point game with 8 to go. And we went to the under 8 timeout, and the mood up there had really shifted, kind of like it was over. Of course, if anyone knows me, you knew it wasn't over. And I heard some comments from some Auburn, some people around me that, I'm going to not share those, but it was basically like, this game's over, whipped them, whatever. And I just remember thinking, this is not how it goes. And sure enough, Bama goes on a 14-0 run to tie it, aided by some Shackelford and Quinterly threes. Davidson had a poster on
Yeah, that
Walker
was,
Kessler.
that was sweet.
Kessler. Yeah,
Did it go crazy whenever
Yeah,
that?
it got
Oh, yeah.
loud. That was the
that cut it
loudest
to
got.
5. I remember vividly that cutting it to 5.
It got really
And it
loud, and then
felt
they had to
like-
stick him out.
It felt like that put them up 5. That's how it felt in the room.
Oh, I told Clay on that final possession when Quimberly had the ball and he was about to pull up from 3. I said,
my
"Watch this, about to break our heart. It's about to be the end right here." I said,
And
"There,
then
he's gonna hit
Throw
3."
a layup up to freaking.
But
I don't
then
know who he was
yeah,
shooting. the
wide
ball.
I don't know
open.
why he didn't shoot it.
I'll just say my takeaways from the game: Jabari Smith might not be just
Incredible.
like the most recognized Auburn player like we recognize Charles Barkley and stuff like that, but he's already the best Auburn basketball player that's ever stepped on the court, and I'm comfortable to say that. Also think if he just keeps up what he's doing right now, he's gonna be the number 1 overall pick this season.
I agree with that.
He is really freaking good, and that's just not. If I was an Auburn fan, I'd think the same thing.
Yeah, I can. He's a stud.
If he was playing for Alabama, he's freaking good. That's just
Yeah.
that's
There
just
was
how
about
it is.
5 possessions where it just looked like, well, he shouldn't be out there with those guys.
Yeah, it's like go ahead and put him in the league. Other than that, I thought the reffing was sucky on
yes,
both ends.
terrible.
I thought it was bad for Alabama and Auburn. I didn't.
it's
think,
always like that.
I just-
It's SEC officiating.
I'm
It's
just
awful.
tired of the whistle. Like cut it.
I know, I hate the whistle.
Over that. Surprise player of the game for me was not a surprise, but Wendell Green. He really helped us out in a lot of situations. He kept momentum for us a bunch. My one takeaway negative towards Alabama, two actually, I'm sorry. One, J.D. Davidson's the most unimpressive 5-star I've ever seen play in person.
There's the shot.
He can't create a shot for himself other than one dunk he had in the game. And yes, it's a great dunk. It's a highlight play. Turn your comments on. But I mean, he couldn't shoot. I mean, nothing. He's like Ben Simmons, but shorter.
He's got a shot. He can shoot.
Quinterly and Shackelford are the most impressive to me.
Yes,
especially
agreed.
Shackelford.
That's what I was about to say.
I think
Shackelford hits some big shots.
I was about to say, but Shackelford usually shoots better, doesn't he?
He
didn't shoot much.
Yeah.
They kept setting on one high ball screen and getting the switch they wanted. Then Auburn tried to counter with that by putting the switch guy, was Jabari Smith, who you don't necessarily want to switch to. Alabama did a really good job of that, and their guard play was really well. They started setting off-ball screens to get Shackelford and Quinterly some threes late, and they did bury every one of them just about, except for the last one. He didn't shoot it. So,
also thought that Keon Ellis, had a pretty good game.
I want to shout out Darius Miles. I thought he did a pretty good job on Jabari.
Yeah,
Gary was getting killed, and they put in Darius Miles, and I know Jabari got some buckets on him. It's freaking, of course he did.
Those are it doesn't matter who it is.
Overall, I thought he stepped in. A guy who doesn't play huge minutes stepped in and did a great job.
He almost had a double-double.
Yeah. See, I'm on the opposite of Dags. I thought JD grew up that game. That's the most. He looked like he's starting to mature. Not everybody's like Jabari Smith. It takes time for these kids to develop.
I'm not saying that, but let me defend him in the sense of I left thinking he was an impressive passer.
Oh, he's
really good at passing.
Creator. He just got to work on dribbling.
And he can really dribble. It's just the factor of that he couldn't create a shot last night. But it also helps that we have twin towers.
He probably couldn't see because his hair's too long.
They got Kessler in foul trouble early. I thought that was big.
Yeah.
Then that might have been the plan because they went at him pretty well. Of course, the whistle's going to get blown.
For Auburn, they arguably have the best player in college basketball. They're arguably the best team. It's hard to rank anybody because we're just now getting into conference. We don't know how good teams like. I don't know how bad of a lot, like how good of a loss Baylor is to Texas Tech. If I had to rank them, I'd probably still put Baylor at 1, and then I put Auburn at 2 right now. Those look like the two best teams to me, at least. But again, what is this, like game 4 conference?
Yeah,
stuff's liable to change. It will change.
That statement.
Well, and let me shout out to Alabama.
Wild.
You're losing at the right time if you're going to lose.
This is the time to lose.
I told Eli we need to lose.
Auburn needs to drop
just because I feel like teams that face adversity through a loss are better in the tournament than they are.
Yeah.
They are. I'd rather enter the tournament, in one of the back seeds with some losses, but very battle tested and proven.
Yeah.
But it's to each his own. That's why I think Gonzaga struggles sometimes in the tournament because they go in undefeated and all that pressure is just sitting on top of you.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good overall game from both teams. I thought it was impressive that Alabama could have gave up when Auburn got up big and didn't and came back. Build a new arena.
I need to do something about that.
I'm just sorry, but if you can
do
park
something about where the
student section isn't in the space.
Ticket holders are sitting because a lot of those ticket holders sell their tickets to Auburn fans, and then you got Auburn fans in the front row of the game, and that's just pathetic. They got to do something about it.
I was gonna say that the factor of I think your student section they need to let them take over that bottom half because they've got them in space up there.
And it wasn't like they didn't show up; it was full.
They showed up. Now they did get quiet, but they showed up.
Twitter was they were atting the
I saw a lot of
Greg Byron. I saw that.
Twitter was a war zone.
I saw
night.
Auburn. Of course, Auburn. That's where we feel like we thrive is Twitter. We may not win on the football field, but we're going to win in the Twitterverse. I saw Alabama fans absolutely tearing each other apart. I watched the Hunter Johnson guy get into it with some people. It was pretty funny.
It was just like you saw like them roasting, and then you saw like the Houston game or Mechie hitting the crane, and then you saw like you just lost again in 48 hours, and then blah blah blah. It was just back and forth.
It was just everything. I literally, after I dropped you off, Clay, when I pulled into my driveway last night, I just sat in my car. I literally turned it off. I just sat there in Twitter and just scrolled for probably 15 minutes.
I love it when it's like 40-year-olds and they're basing their happiness off of 19-year-olds basketball performance.
Well, I know, and that's like the hard part now that we're at the same age as all these people. It's kind of like, you know what? Look, I probably can't do that. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not
like
my
I care.
joy.
I want Alabama to win, but at the end of the day, like I'm not. When I'm 50, I better not be one of those guys.
Oh, no.
I don't
Right
like.
now, it is. It's a little. I mean, I'm still, but I feel like when I get to that,
Yeah.
But it was a good game. Other than that, college basketball, big weekend around the SEC. Some top matchups. Alabama plays LSU this weekend.
I think we play Mississippi State this weekend, and then LSU's
so
the
Auburn
week.
plays Kentucky
We-
on the weekend. They play LSU.
Yeah, okay.
Double
So that's
header.
that. Auburn has a chance, like Clay said. We have a chance to be the number one team in the country this week if we go handle business against Ole Miss. Still have to jump a couple teams, but resumes help.
Yeah.
And that's what one of the things is crazy for me as Auburn fan to finish off this game is, when you have people like Dick Vitale and those guys tweeting about you and saying, okay, this team's legit, that's when you kind of feel like you've made it as a program. When Dick Vitale said Jabari Smith was the number one overall pick, and I read Joe Lenardi say that strength of schedule wise, the only team above Auburn right now is Baylor, I felt like I was like, okay, wow, we're actually there.
That
as a
is
program.
that is
So
crazy to hear.
other than that, big weekend of basketball up ahead. It's kind of hard to cover all these games. You can only really just hone in on one
Yeah.
a week, and we're going to try to do that SEC-wise for y'all. Other than that, Clay talked about it last night. It's hard to just sit down and watch a ton of these games just because they're playing every day,
Yeah.
and there's so many different random times, and it's hard to get all of it. But we'll give you the best as possible. If we want to talk about some NBA basketball, John Morant is an absolute menace. You better watch
Klay
out.
Thompson's back.
Klay Thompson's back,
Yeah,
and
that
that's
was
it. That's your 2 seconds of NBA talk. Whew. I'm exhausted from talking about it from that much. Certified Stud of the Week is back in blackjack.
I'll kick this one off.
All right, go for it.
I could
kick it off.
I could pick two, and I'm going to go with the one who didn't win. My stud of the week, Justin Herbert. I know he did. The other one's Derek Carr. I could have balanced it out, but I'm going to go Herbert just because he was able to lead. They threw the ball like 19 times on that last drive. They converted like 3 or 4 fourth downs. He proved he might be top 5, arguably.
Who, Herbert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe like top 4. He hadn't been in the playoffs yet, but that game was not on him at all. It's not on anybody. It was just a hard-fought game, but he did everything he could do to win, and he's impressive as all get out. And the fact him and Burrow in the same class is pretty insane. So my stud of the week is Justin Herbert, and Derek Carr is also a stud, but I've already given one to him, so I had to switch it up.
Fair.
My stud of the week was also NFL, and that is Deebo Samuel.
Trevor
Deep-
Lawrence. Sorry, Deebo Samuel. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Deebo Samuel, in case you didn't know, this season has been playing running back some because the 49ers have been, so hurt at running back. Well, I think it was Sunday. Yeah, Sunday versus the Rams. He played not only wide receiver with 4 receptions, 95 yards, didn't get a touchdown at receiver. That's fine, whatever. But he also played running back, had 8 attempts for 45 yards and a touchdown. But not only did he play wide receiver and running back, but he also played quarterback and threw a touchdown pass, which is just, insane by a wide receiver now. You're catching passes, out wide. You're also lining up as a running back, and then you come out there and throw a touchdown pass, which was like a 30-yard touchdown pass. That is insane. Yeah, it was an absolute dart to, I don't even know, maybe it was 11. I can't think of his name now.
It wasn't Ayuk. I don't know who it was.
I don't know who it was, but it was an insane game from him. So they
had to get in.
Yeah,
They
and
needed to win that one.
This was a game you had to win. So
You want to go? Or you want
No,
me
you
to
got it.
All right. I was gonna go with Trevor Lawrence. I really was. I'm just kidding. But more insult to injury, salt in the wound. It's got to be Stetson Bennett. This is. I didn't mean this as a shot to anybody, but when you fumble that ball, and the Branch kid from Alabama recovers it unknowingly, and then they score, which they hadn't scored all night. It's their first touchdown on a 3rd down. I just don't know of any more demoralizing sequence of events. It just, you're driving, you've got the lead, you have the football in the 4th quarter against Alabama in the national title, and you get something crazy like that. And he's trying to throw it away. I saw what he was doing, and it turns into you trailing in the 4th to Alabama over something silly, in my opinion. I don't know how he came back from that, and he led him right down the field and scored, and then did it again. I just think that's incredible. I think he deserves multiple studs of the week for that. Just the mental game, the mental aspect of that, overcoming, deserving of stud of the week.
I had a lot of people I thought could have won stud of the week. Even in a loss, I think Nick Saban could get stud of the week for taking this team to the national championship, because this should have been a rebuilding. Not rebuilding, but in standards of Alabama teams, this is just not a normal team that make a national championship. And I feel like y'all would agree with me in that statement.
Yeah.
I mean, next year y'all are going to be absolutely dangerous. I'm scared. But I think for me, it's Kirby Smart. I mean, dude is 0-4 record. I read an article, and I told Clay this yesterday. What made me think Georgia may win that game on Monday was that I read an article early into Monday that said, or Kirby Smart's 0-4 is getting in his head. And that is, I mean, mental space coming towards a game like that is, I mean, it's huge. You got to have a mindset that's, hey, we're going to go out and win this game. And when you're 0-4 against a guy, it gets real hard to, get over that defeated attitude. And I don't want to talk about the game because I've got a lot of thoughts about it, and I'd rather just wait and set on that. So just shout out to Kirby Smart for winning. Now, am I happy Georgia won a national championship? No, not whatsoever. I cannot stand them as much as I can't stand Alabama. But game, respect game, and I think he did it. Derek Carr, you deserve a shout-out, like Clay Mack said. Justin Herbert did. Once again, we've joked on him all season, but Ben Roethlisberger deserves a shout-out to win and to keep alive. Now, also, Raiders, Steelers fans did thank Daniel Carlson. That was also my other certified stud of the week. Could have potentially been
17 points.
Yeah. He's kicked, 6 game-winning kicks now?
6 game winners,
so
yeah.
that's impressive.
And he hasn't missed one this year in, whatchamacallit, whatever the stadium's called. I can't think of it. Allegiant.
Yeah. So mine is Kirby Smart. So the Eagle Radio Group app, available on iOS and Android, offers all of your favorite Eagle Radio Network stations, including 95 and 96.3 The B and 102.9 The Eagle, plus tons of extra channels programmed by our crew and people you trust like us here at Follow Through. The Eagle Radio Group app on the Apple App Store and Google Play. Download it today. We haven't done this in a while, it feels like. Magic moment.
Since last year. It's been a whole year. One more time. For the guys in the back.
Doo-doo.
This magic moment. Blake, what's your magic moment for this week?
My magic moment.
It's COVID.
I know me and you both had just
Yeah, y'all had
one.
great
Yeah,
weeks.
I mean, this week was just so eventful, man. But no, my magic moment would be me turning the big 2-0 Saturday.
Hey, Blake.
Yeah,
Lee.
turned 20,
Congratulations,
no
man.
longer a teenager.
Turn you up.
What'd you do in your last day as a teenager?
You know what I did? I sat in my room alone. Yeah, and that, it sucks because COVID and all that. But I mean, I'm just happy to see another year.
Amen, brother.
So
Awesome.
My magic moment this week, it has to be yesterday. Not necessarily. I can't stop thinking about this, dude. That pizza I ate last night. Oh my gosh. My magic moment was freaking meaty meat pizza from
That was the name of it.
meat pizza
Yikes.
from Mellow Mushroom. We gotta get one of a Mellow Mushroom.
Is that your
this
first time
area.
eating Mellow
It's
Mushroom?
been a long time, and oh baby, that thing was good.
It was meaty.
it was meaty.
All right, Eli, what you got?
That was a good.
The meaty meat.
A good time. It really was all around. My magic moment is also going to be last night. Alabama coming back, sort of taking all the momentum, really a shot away from putting the game out of reach, I thought. And then for Auburn to fight back and get that win and get to be there with all my friends, and it was just a good time. So I hate Blake missed out.
So all your friends, I wasn't
But
there. It was whatever.
Just a good time with a bunch of good friends and a great game.
not a
So
good
magic
friend.
moment.
That's a good one, Eli. But Blake. My magic moment was testing positive for COVID. I'm joking.
That's a positive impact. Sorry.
I hear the crickets over there. I'm gonna go with passion because we didn't. I mean, it's been that's
Very
still
fair.
up there on table. I would say I had a really good time at passion. I thought it was an awesome experience. So that's gonna be my magic moment. Always fun to hang out with y'all there too. And then of course, the basketball game last night was awesome. I mean, I think everyone would probably guess that for me and Eli. I mean, No one would have guessed your meaty meat pizza because no one knew that.
Clay likes that meaty meat pizza.
But shout out to Mr. Chin's.
That is facts. They
Shout out to Mr. Chin's.
free
They
parking
for
for us.
about 4
Tuscaloosa.
years now. So,
Mr. Chin. I think it's the best parking space.
oh, dude,
Because
and it's always
right down-
guaranteed.
it's-
No one ever thinks
no
about
one's-
it.
No.
And you
it's-
can go out that back road. Now the
Yes.
light was screwed up last night,
Yeah, that did hurt us a little, but not.
but
much.
we
Were
didn't
you trying
run
to
the
go
red
left?
red light.
you trying to go left?
Yeah, I followed right
Yeah.
behind you
Oh, you're behind.
because I was having to go to John Michael's apartment.
Yeah, I just eventually ran it because it never switched. I mean, I didn't. It switched eventually.
Yeah, it switched. It was just a
Hey,
red
hey.
green light.
Yeah.
Ain't no judging over here.
I've
done
that is
that my
Mr.
fair
Chin.
share
Shout out
days.
Mr. Chin. I
Yeah,
agree.
shout out Mr. Chin's. It's an awesome parking spot. Do not take it. Do not do it.
No,
I know you
Also,
want to
we
now.
need to go in there and eat sometime to repay him for all.
Yeah,
all
I mean,
of our parking.
I may go in there and buy water. I don't know if I'm going to
Yeah,
eat there,
yeah, you're right.
but
I'll
shout out to
drink.
that. I thought it was a good experience. And so let's move on to our last thing for the show, which is what really has provided a lifeline for the show
It has
for
It carried
almost.
the show for 3 to 4
And
months.
Yeah.
this would be Clay's. Would you say second most upsetting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Behind Indianapolis.
Now all these happened day after day after day,
Yeah, so this completes the 72 hours of pain that
which
Clay's
is
lived in.
kind of
Well, I mean, do you want to extend it? Would going back to school be another? Would it make it
Well,
to
we've
96
been in
hours?
school.
That's just reality.
We've been in
gotcha.
school.
Okay, let's talk about it. It's the national championship. It's the end all be all. It's the culmination of so many odd games. I don't want to do math.
I'll kick it off because
Okay.
I really don't have that much as you would think. I'm actually going to defend the whole team, everybody, the coaching staff, everybody. Sometimes the other team is just better, and that's a fact. And I'm not one of those guys that's like Jameson Nugget got hurt, we win the game. Does it help? Of course it helps. He was a finalist for the however you pronounce wide receiver award. I can't say it. Of course it helps, but does it overall change the ending of the game? No, it doesn't. Okay, nobody was open all night. And it's not Bryce Young's fault. It's not A.G. Hall's fault. This pains me to say. It's not Jaleel Billingsley's fault, even though he did have moments where it seemed like it was his fault. It's not Bill O'Brien's fault. It's not Pete Golden's fault. It's not anybody on that team's fault. Georgia is incredible, and
I have done my job.
They were pissed off. And, I mean, my only complaint...
My legs sleep.
My only...
I'm
My-
very happy with that.
My only complaint is Bryce didn't really have. I mean, nobody was open, and he threw some beautiful passes
He
that were
did.
dropped, and that was it. That was the only complaint I really had. Is like,
Yeah,
they're
usually you're
giving
throwing
they're
the-
giving you nothing, and when your quarterback finds a way to fit something in there, and that passes that really aren't even open necessarily. And you can't reel them in. That's
My legs
just
sleep.
that's the only complaint I had. And but like I said, sometimes the other team's just better than you, and that's what it was. Their defense is incredible, and they locked up. And I mean, congrats to them. They straight up beat them. And if you're saying having Jameson changes the outcome of the game, just stop. Having Jameson and Mechie, that helps even more. But I still don't think that we win. I really don't. So. Shout out Georgia, congratulations, and on to next year.
4 things.
Four things.
Four.
Assuming you're
So this
complaining.
one, this is just crazy.
How's your leg?
It's waking up now.
Okay.
It's over here
Cool.
snoring a little bit, but 4 things.
COVID
So
side effect.
this was crazy to me. Bryce Young had 57 pass attempts. That's more than Georgia's rushing attempts and passing attempts combined, which was just that's absolutely insane. Another thing, like Clay said, I didn't think we would win this game, honestly, just because it's tough to beat a team twice, and this Georgia team who absolutely loaded on defense
loaded. I would
and
agree with that.
offense. I didn't see us beating them twice, just because how angry they seemed at the Michigan game. And another thing, Pete Golding called heck of a game. I mean, he's been calling a heck of a game. And
Yeah, you got to when you look at the final score, you got to take a touchdown off the board.
yeah,
for the pick six.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he was calling a heck of a game all night. Got pressure, and the linebackers played out of their minds.
The
I will
defense
say
played
that.
well enough to win the game.
Yes.
Very well.
But my only complaint
Here's
is
Bill O'Brien's play calling.
we're in the red zone 5 times, and we only ran the ball once.
That was
Well, not red zone. We were on the goal line 5 times, ran the ball only once.
Well, and that goes back to the A&M game. That's the
Yes.
same exact thing.
And Florida.
Yeah. And I mean, you did this all day versus Cincinnati. You ran the ball. You set a rushing record in like just playoffs, and you just go away from it. And whenever you need it the most, and you know that's like my biggest takeaway. You just stopped giving it to the guy that wants to win the most, or one of the guys that wants to win it the most on the goal line.
Yeah, let me go ahead and give you this to B-Rob real quick before. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but he is going to go down as one of the most criminally disrespected Alabama players,
Yes.
and I want to just make that defense.
I'm glad
of
he
him.
had his game against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
He deserved that.
And
I
you know,
agree.
this was, and we just started a long drive. It started with Brian Robinson absolutely like just stiff arming 3 guys into the ground. Didn't go down. We get down there, just pass the ball 3 times in a row, and then we kick a field goal. And I mean that just doesn't really make sense to me. Probably somebody could make it make sense to me, but in my opinion, if you're on the goal line, you run the ball, you give the ball to your back, who can get in there. But that's about it. I mean, I knew they were a better team, really. And you know, you don't see that a lot whenever you're facing Alabama, the powerhouse of college football. So it was a great game, and a lot of people were complaining that this was a boring game. I didn't think it was a boring game at all. This is what college football used to be. This is how, you know, it used to look like. It was a lot of defense, not a whole lot of offense, but there was still talent on both sides of the ball.
Well,
and I love that.
People just don't like a game like that anymore. They all want fireworks for 60 minutes.
Like,
and that's just not.
I saw RG3, not hating against him at all. I love RG3, but he was saying that this game was so boring. When in reality, I don't think it was boring at all. I think this was probably one of the most, other than the Iron Bowl, the most exciting games I watched this year, just because it was pure defensive, and you had to fight for everything that you did. Could not.
They were hitting so hard.
Nothing was coming at ease for either team.
Now, this game captivated me. I would like to
didn't
put
miss
that
a
out there.
snap.
Me
Yeah.
either.
But
It started.
That's
I
it.
watched the whole way.
I don't have anything to say. My team wasn't in it. You really can't say much when your team's not in it. So,
all I've got is, you know, looking at Stetson Bennett's stats, it was impressive. I still
Their defense won the game.
I was about to say, I still struggle with. Me and Clay talked about this yesterday.
I don't know. The drive after the fumble.
The
to me,
long touchdown pass he had is because he chunked it up on
I
a
agree.
free play.
That's a prayer.
Yes.
And me and Clay talked about that. It was a prayer.
And
it worked out. It was a heck of a catch. It was a heck of a catch.
Yeah,
and a
heck
great
of a
throw.
catch, heck of a play by
But-
the DB too to be it there.
That's on it being a free play.
The dagger to me was the break off run, with
And
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. It was James Cook.
The
And that's what I
60-yard
was gonna say.
rush. 'Cause that gave him, you know, that push.
James
the
Cook had 6 carries for 77 yards, so he averaged 12.8 yards a carry, and he also had 15 yards in receptions with 2 receptions. So he averaged above 6 yards a carry on every statistical stat.
And at halftime, both of them didn't combine for 50 yards.
Yes. On the other note, though, Bryce stats were very impressive to me. My only complaint about Bryce from that whole game was that last drive where he ended up throwing a pick. He should have thrown one before that.
Yeah.
His decisions were a little questionable for me on that.
Oh, and he
but
threw
on the
that
other hand, you've got to
50-50
get the ball down. You've got to get the ball down the field. I get that.
That's just the price you pay
Yeah.
whenever you're. I mean,
You're down in the
A.J.
hole.
Hall has not caught a pass all
Yeah,
year, and
no.
he is out there playing like signature minutes and catching and getting the ball thrown to him, and that's just there's a chemistry. And I know you can say, "Oh, they're all 5 stars."
No. When
So-
you throw
so is
someone
the team
in,
they're playing.
and when you throw in someone in the national championship
not like
game,
Mississippi.
it's not like you're just throwing them in against Mississippi State or Vanderbilt. You know, you're not just throwing them in on some Joe Blow random
Yeah.
SEC game. You're
Heavy
throwing them in on a
shots.
rematch versus the number 1 team that we thought all season was going to be. This was this is Georgia at its finest. This is what we thought they were all season, and it finally hit the field. That's my other point. I didn't get the whole just absolute write-off of Georgia going into this game.
One bad game.
One bad game, you got punched in the mouth. The most dangerous fighter is the one who gets punched in their mouth and is ready to get back up and fight again.
They won 13 games this year by 15 or more points.
Yes. That's
the only
a
two is
dadgum
lost to
impressive
Bama
stat.
and the 7-point win against Clemson.
My other thing, the thing that makes me go, okay, you know what? That's when you can tell it's a defensive game. he had a long run too. Stetson Bennett minus 24 yards.
And this was a guy that came into the game. He said, I need to make myself a runner in this game. Because he didn't run it.
Bryce
They
Young,
didn't run it enough with
Bryce
him, I
Young
thought.
minus 43.
That was
and that shows
I was getting very mad that they. I understand why you didn't run him during the season because.
But you have to.
You look at the bench and you're like, okay, we cannot lose this guy. But that game,
You got to throw everything.
They gave you so many looks
Yes.
to just run a little QB draw, and you were gone. And it's
Yeah.
not like he's some bum athlete. He's
Yeah.
freakishly athletic.
Like,
and
other than that, when you've got nobody in the middle of the field and you're already 5 wide,
go.
Just
Go.
kind of draw.
And slide.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that's nothing on Bryce.
But
it
they
just goes back to
told
running
him not
the
to
ball.
run.
Georgia's
you can tell.
Georgia's defense showed up. They were what they were finally made out to be.
N'Kobe Dean,
Um,
and I said this earlier in the season, he's the best player on that defense. Jordan Davis is not. N'Kobe
Yes.
Dean is definitely the best player on that
My
defense.
other thing is, you know what? Their secondary played their best game of the season, and that's just they were. If what we said, you know what? He had some struggles with receivers because you know what, they're freshmen. I understand that completely. On the other hand, when that ball was there, they were tipping it.
Oh, dude,
they were deflecting it. They were there. Now the pick, you're an idiot if you run. I'm no offense. I know he ran it back for a touchdown. Get down.
I was
you cough
expecting
that
him to
up.
get
If you
down.
cough that up and they take that back, just like Florida when Mechie rocked that guy in the SEC championship, I guess a
good
year
point.
ago. He gets hit, mops it back up. Bama gets the ball. Completely really changed that game. Last thing, Georgia. Biggest play of the game was Stetson Bennett recovering that fumble in the first half.
I agree.
was
I
huge.
believe that completely changes the game.
Just lost it.
Bama's defender literally is the only reason why he got that ball back because he tackled him on top of it. That is literally the only reason because there was a swarm of Alabama players around it. They don't get that ball. I think Bama goes down and score, and we're not talking about it. First team that scored won. That's how I felt like it was going to be, and I thought it was a good national championship game. Alabama, don't worry, you're literally going to be right back there next year because that team is coming back, and it's going to be freaking scary seeing Will Anderson play college football some more. Georgia, on the other hand,
They'll
I guess we
reload,
can't.
too.
I guess we
Yeah,
can't make your
they'll reload.
40-year-old jokes anymore, which is
Can't.
depressing. So of course Alabama ruined that for me.
Now it's Florida.
Florida's
Florida's
Notre
the-
Dame. It's funny.
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
Michigan
Yeah.
hadn't won one since '46.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. That might.
And they
win.
might lose
And,
their coach.
yeah, they're about to lose their coach.
I just saw there was a report out. I guess we could say that there was a report
The
that came
Bears.
out that I wish. Oh my gosh. That he's staying unless there's an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about NFL owners is they love to make offers that
That
you can't refuse.
Yeah.
So
Which would be any offer.
great show. Follow through, boys. Any final thoughts?
Good to be back. Been too long.
It is good to be back. Glad everybody's sick for the moment, and I'm
Yeah, you just-
missing some college football already.
Get ready for some NFL Sunday and Saturday.
And
Ready for
Monday.
some
And Monday, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the playoffs.
Me as well. Well, it's good to be back with y'all, and y'all have a great weekend. Be safe, stay healthy. I know COVID's just kind of raging right now, so wear your mask and be careful. Until next time.
Peace out.
Got me singing every second, dancing every hour. Oh yeah, you've got a higher power, and she really someone